Windows as a virtual machine in our VirtualBox. So if you think that, yeah, I'm already using Windows, why I am going to download Windows as a virtual machine, then you're completely right, but you're going to have to do that as well, because we're going to use virtual machine of Windows 10 as a victim machine. We're going to attack that computer, we're going to run some tests on that computer, we're going to have backdoors on that computer, so it won't be safe to test all of the things in your own computer, and also we're going to use the NAT network in order to have them on the same network in our VirtualBox. Okay, so whether you're on Windows or you're on Linux or you're on Mac, you're going to have to download any version of Windows to your VirtualBox so that you can run it as a virtual machine. So in order to do that, I'm going to search for Windows 10 VirtualBox virtual machine. The reason that I'm searching for Windows 10, it's because the latest version of Windows, it really doesn't matter if you have Windows 7 or something else as a virtual machine, but I'm going to go for Windows 10. Okay, so I'm going to share this link with you. Of course, you can find it yourself by Googling it, but here is the virtual machines of Windows. Like you can, this is only for actually testing the Internet Explorer 11. However, you can download it and use it as a virtual machine, a virtual Windows operating system, so that we can use it anytime we want. And as you can see, it comes with a lot of options like VirtualBox, Vagrant, VMware, Hyper-V, and Parallels. So since we're using VirtualBox, of course, we're going to download the one for the VirtualBox, and we're going to use it to install it on our computer. And this is a little bit bigger machine, a little bit bigger operating system than Linux, so it will take some time. So make sure you click on the VirtualBox and wait until this is finished. And obviously, I have downloaded this before in order not to make you wait. This is 5 GB of machine, 5 GB of file, so it will take a while. Make yourself comfortable, pause the video, and wait until this is finished. And again, this doesn't have to be Windows 10. It can be anything over here, like Windows 7 or any other thing. Just make sure that you find the password after you download the virtual machine. So the password for this Windows 10 is password like this, but make sure you check the web page as well. If they change it for some reason, you can see it over here. They haven't changed it for like 4 or 5 years, I believe, but they may change it in the future. So make sure you check it, okay? And when you download this OVA file, you can find it to double click on that and install it like we did before. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to double click on this, or you can just come over here to say import, like we did in the Kali Linux, and just say import. Because again, you don't need to change any settings because we're going to change everything later on, and we're going to do the same things that we have done in Kali Linux. It's no different, but again, it will require some kind of different modification since Windows require much more RAM and much more CPU power than Kali Linux in order to be executed, in order to be run. Okay, so wait until this import is over, and then you can come back to your VirtualBox and then just open the settings of the Windows like this. So if I come over here, I can say that type is Windows. So make sure you go to Windows and make sure you choose the Windows 10 from here as well. Once you do that, you can go over to the system side where we will actually allocate some RAM. So it actually suggests us to use 4 GB of RAM, but most of the time it's too much for the regular users. Okay, so I have tried 2 GB of RAM. It works fine with Windows. It's a little bit slow, but there isn't much to do because we're going to use Kali Linux and Windows at the same time in some of the lectures. Okay, so we should limit them so that it will leave us some RAM as well for our host machine, because otherwise everything will be slow if we don't have enough RAM for our host machine. So for example, if you have 4 GB of RAM, this will be a little bit hard for you for some of the lectures, okay, in which where we will have to have Windows and Kali Linux open. So make sure you allocate it in an optimal way, and this goes for CPU as well. Like you can go for 1 CPU or 2 CPU, and if it lags or if it starts, then you can come over here and change, increase it, decrease it, and try to find your optimal way. And again, in the network section, make sure you go for NAT network like we did in the previous lecture. This is where we will get our internet connection from, and once you do that, you can either start it from here or from the headless start like we did before. It will pop up on the virtual machine for you. So Windows would be a little bit slower when we compare it to Kali Linux, okay? So we're going to have to wait a little bit more, and once it opens, it will ask for a password, and for the first time it opens, it may not ask for a password, okay? And the second time you open it, it can ask for a password, but you know the password from the web page, okay? This is the password with capital P and the exclamation point at the end. Make sure you copy it and paste it, or just write it yourself, and we're going to have to wait until we see the opening of this Windows or the username and password input text in the screen. So make sure you wait until it's opened, and if it doesn't open, maybe you can try to increase the RAM a little bit or decrease the RAM a little bit, depending on your situation, but it will eventually be open like that. So here you go. Now it's working. As you can see, it's a little bit small. So if you restart it, like if you shut it down and open it again, if it doesn't work, if you cannot make it into full screen, then you're gonna have to change the screen resolution of the Windows. This is a standard Windows virtual machine, like a standard Windows operating system. So you can come over here to display settings by right-clicking and just choose the resolution from here, like we do in a real machine like that. Okay. So this is good, but maybe we can go for something bigger like this. Yep, this is much better. Okay. And I believe this is the maximum one, but we can make it like that, and we can use it like this. It's very good, right? So for example, we have chosen our NAT network, remember, and we said that yeah, we're gonna get the internet connection from that NAT network. We can always test this, right? We didn't see how to do that in Kali Linux because we haven't seen the overview of Kali Linux yet, but this is a Windows machine, so everyone knows how to use Windows at least a little bit. So I'm going to open the Internet Explorer over here and try to go to google.com, and here you go, google.com works, so we can actually connect to the internet using the virtual machine. So this is all thanks to the NAT network. And this is the actual menu of the Windows. You can come over here and search for language. If you have a different keyboard, or if you have having like a different language problems over here, you can change the language from there. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to keep it in English, but I'm going to show you how to install one. For example, if you click over here and let me just search for Turkish, for example. My keyboard is Turkish, so maybe I can find the Turkish and say next and install from here in order to customize my language and in order to have a compatible keyword. If you're using a different keyboard, like a different language, like an Asian language or Chinese, you may want to change it from here. Okay, once you do that, it will start downloading this, and when it completes, it will ask you to install it. You can say install, and here you go. Now it's installed or being installed over here. So it says that after you finish, you're going to have to wait a little bit, or you're going to have to restart this machine. And it will pop up in the language selection at the right bottom side. So if you have never used Windows, maybe you don't know that, but you can change the keyboard settings or the language settings at the right corner side. So let me see if this is finished or not. It doesn't seem to be finished, but maybe we can see it from here. Yeah, we can see the Turkish keyboard from here. You can change the keyboard options from there as well.